So how does compassion play in LinkedIn today?
So it's become, I mean, for me personally, it's essentially my first principle with regard to management. And it's something that we take very seriously at the company. It's kind of embedded into our values. One of our core values is that relationships matter. And if you were to scratch the surface there, it's really about managing compassionately. We certainly take the time to educate the team on what it means to be compassionate, to manage compassionately, the distinction between empathy and compassion, what compassion means when you're making difficult decisions and hard decisions, the difference between being transparent and being open, honest, and constructive, which can be very, very different. The importance, as I referenced earlier, to being a spectator to your own thoughts, especially when you get revved up and you become emotional. And there's a lot of work we do along those lines, and it's made an enormous difference.
That difference between being transparent and open, honest, which side do you fall on? What's more important, internally and externally facing?
So there's an important distinction. I think there's actually a lot of overlap between transparent and open and honest. The key for us is to be open, honest, and constructive. And I've seen from following other companies and being parts of other companies that sometimes people will use transparency as an excuse to tear one another apart, especially when that becomes a core value of an organization. So my sharing with you my views of you in a way that is not constructive but can actually be destructive can create a lot of friction and a lot of tension within an organization. And sometimes these companies will actually, wave a flag and bear that proudly and suggest that's their culture.
Radical candor.
Radical transparency, radical candor, and it becomes an excuse for, do we curse here or no? There's no, I'm not going to go there. It becomes an excuse for treating people poorly. That's the word I'll go with.
It can become a toxic environment.
Yeah, it can become a toxic environment. And when you create a culture like that at a company that's just starting out, several hundred people, it has ripple effects. And as you're adding more people and they're watching the leadership and they're in these meetings where the senior most folks are just chewing people out, they're modeling that behavior, and then people newer to the organization are coming up through the ranks who haven't done it before, start to replicate that behavior, and this compounds across the organization. And as you grow, it becomes embedded, and it's incredibly difficult to change that kind of culture and those values once the organization achieves a certain kind of scale. It is possible, but it's really, really challenging.